Hey, everybody. Welcome to the HIT.OR.DIE podcast, episode 52. We got a great set of guests for you. We got the 2008 College World Series team, Fresno State. We're going to have Ryan Overland, Gavin Hedstrom, Danny Muno, Steve Susdorf, Tommy Mendonca, and Jordan Ribera on here with us and get a look into what life was like on the 2008 team for that run towards the College World Series.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. These guys hopefully can tell us some inside stuff we nobody's heard, and I'm sure there's some stuff that they can't or prefer not to talk about. But I just know, growing up a Dogs fan, and that whole time, a special, man. It meant a lot, and I remember my dad being super pumped, and we were together, and yeah, man, it was a big deal for people around here.
Yeah, it should be fun. I know they're itching to get on right now. They've been texting; they're ready to go. So we'll get them on here and get after it.
Oh my God! Wow!
What's up, meat?
Unreal.
Yeah, we just planted walnuts.
Ribs is on now.
Yo. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Oh,
I like your ratings and how Pat Ware is just going at you hard.
Yeah,
people for those.
they're obviously bored. And I just tweeted at him a review from Jake Hauer because I just refinanced his house. I said, even the pitchers love me. Another 5-star by a pitcher. How often does that come about?
I don't know. Did you ever take him deep?
No.
Well, that's why.
No. He, Wilson, Shepard, all those bums. Yeah, but, What's up, Muno?
What up?
You got on a Jeff Gordon hat? Get that at the gas station or what?
Oh, yeah. $2.
Well, first of all, we appreciate you guys doing this.
Yeah.
Jake, you want to start it?
Well, real quick, they had the game 3 on ESPNU like 2 weeks ago, and I'm sure everybody watched it. What was that like rewatching it? Had you guys seen it since?
Yeah, I'd seen it. I don't remember what they show a couple reruns. Hey, I didn't realize how. After seeing the replay, I didn't realize how on top of you the announcers were, man. Oh my gosh, they were all over you.
Muno is gonna feel this for the next.
Yeah.
We weren't used to, I guess, good dirt. I don't know, Muno.
It didn't matter whether it was good dirt or bad dirt with me. It was just a standard day in the office,
Whatever. We ended up winning, right? That's more than their shortstop can say. And I actually tweeted him and asked him if he was watching the game.
The funny part was when after the third error, when Justin said to me, loosen up your butthole a little bit. Let's go.
Is that what
you could hear Wilson like half the game. That was the biggest thing I noticed. You constantly hear Wilson yelling at you. Dang!
Loosen up your butthole. Let's go.
He was just trying to keep Jade up focused, I think. Didn't want to make it too easy for him.
Yeah. What fun would that have been?
Wilder to catch the final ball, too.
Yeah, does anybody know what he did with that thing?
I heard he donated it to Pike.
Oh, yeah. All right.
That
would make sense.
It was pretty cool to see that team. It was always somebody new coming up big when we needed it, and that game was all him.
Good time to have a career game, I guess you'd say, to win it all. With a broken, his thumb, was it like broken or his ligaments were damaged?
I think they were torn.
Yeah, I don't think he had a broken thumb.
Yeah, it takes some toughness. But getting into that, that's why your team was, pretty damn tough. You had that long stretch of, you were on the road for like 40
Forever.
days, or what's that like? If you guys could get into that, just grinding that out and being in through that whole process, then being in 6 elimination games, and by the time you're in elimination games, it just seemed like another game. Like it didn't matter what game it was just the grind, getting after it.
I mean, by the time we got to those games, I don't even think we were above 500. We always thought of it like, we don't have any pressure really. We've got no, call it business being there, which I think really made it easier for us to go out and just play and have fun compared to, the 100 interviews the other teams were doing daily when we're out practicing in cotton t-shirts. It was just a special, special year, but that, from the Long Beach to ASU and then in Omaha, to see the talent that we had to play and the talent that we beat. I mean, it's hard to describe. It's like, however many first rounders that came out of the regional, super regional, and Omaha, to go in and knock guys like that out, I think it really speaks to, how our coaches prepared us and how we, kind of gathered as a team to finish the race.
Yeah, I remember we had been the 2 years before, we'd been to the regional both years and not won, and always got beat by Fullerton. I remember when we saw our regional, which was, you can't believe those 3 other teams were all in the same regional. I think that's NCAA baseball trying to make sure West Coast teams you don't get too many of them in the College World Series, is my opinion. But that regional was loaded. But I think everyone on our team, we were like, well, great, Fullerton's not in it, so we got a chance, because we always struggled with them. And then, my personal goal for me was want to get us to a super regional. We'd never done it. And so after we won the regional, all the rest was icing on the cake.
I kind of likened the whole thing, if I were a gambling man, which I'm not, but I kind of likened to the whole thing to playing like a 24-hour blackjack, set where you're gambling with the house's money the whole time, right? You are never really risking anything because you already have your money still that you put on the table, and we're constantly just using the house's money to bet that we're going to win the next game. And it really was like 24 hours, no sleep, kind of thing. And I recall, certainly just being done when we're done with this thing after everything came down. It was like a huge sigh of relief, and just that you didn't have to be on the road anymore. I remember my parents, I think a lot of parents were there having to do our laundry, and there were a whole bunch of people that were this thing. And it really was like we were only home back in Fresno like 4 or 5 days out of the 40 or something we were gone. And all of those days we were either practicing or prepping for the next road trip. And so it was a really long, drawn out like postseason. But I remember being just exhausted by the end of it.
I remember Basil telling a story about you guys walking into ASU and their BP and them just, running out of baseballs damn near.
Stupid.
Unbelievable.
It was insane.
Balls still were going way farther than we did.
It was unreal.
Do you guys remember the size of Brett Wallace's legs?
Oh my gosh.
Ridiculous those were. I remember thinking, what is this? Who made this human being? He was just jacked. The guy was he's superhuman.
Was there any, those guys, I thought I also saw, they didn't lose a game at home that year until you guys came in?
I think they lost like 2 or 3, yeah.
With Ray?
Yeah, they were like
40 still really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a hostile environment. The fans are on you, and they're nasty.
And they're close too. They're really close.
58-year-old Bob is telling you he's going to kill your mother. I'm like, calm down, Bob. Like, relax. And then his wife chimes in, yeah, we'll kill her. I'm like, dude, okay. But they're, that it's cool. It's really impressive to see, you go into an environment like that and you see, almost, you see diehard fans that support the program, day in and day out. It's a hostile but fun and competitive environment to play in, and I think it's a good experience for any college baseball player to experience something like that, whether you're on the visiting side or the home side. It was an electric 3 games. Let's just put it at that. The athletes that they had, I remember we just sat there and watched them hit BP, and it was like, okay, these guys are good. There's a reason they've only lost 3 games at home, and it was cool. It was an experience and just great to be a part of that type of environment and be able to play through it and win through it.
Ovi, we were talking on our episode with you, and maybe you guys have the story of the fake fight they had in the dugout.
Yeah, they picked the wrong team to pull that on. I mean, these guys might have a view on it. It was just like, what are they doing?
It wasn't in the dugout, by the way. It wasn't. It was basically on like the third base part of the
end of their in and out.
Yeah. They did all kinds of weird things. So they also put, I don't know if you guys remember this, but they put a giant, like 3-foot diameter thermometer in our dugout to make sure that you were always reminded how hot it was. I remember that being a weird thing. I also remember they did some crazy crap over there. I don't know why, but it didn't work.
Well, that's what I was going to say. There's a team that had so many real fights. I mean, you could spot a real one from a fake one.
It happens.
Let's get into that. The can't get along, get it on. Can we get into that? I want to hear everybody's point of view, and then maybe Sus can go last. He'll let us know who won.
Maybe we should let him go first. Or move on.
Sus has to at least give the full story. Like,
okay. You start.
It's probably been told so many times that. Well, back then I had a few classes during practice, so I wasn't able to make all the scrimmages. So when I did get to the scrimmages, Bates would let me hit, and then put me on deck again, let me hit again, and he'd try to get at bats in. So he was doing that, and I was hitting pretty well at the time, and I don't know if that played into the cards or not. Justin probably will say that I called timeout one too many times, which is probably very true. I did do that.
Without a doubt, you did that.
100%. Justin, on the other end, he liked to get up there and work really, really quick. So I'd be getting in the box and the pitch would be coming. So that probably played into the cards too. But yeah, no, he hit me and got to first base and was like, what the heck's going on here? This guy's throwing at me. Went into the dugout after, and I told Bates, I said, hey, I don't know what the hell's going on right now, but if this guy throws at me again, I'm going to charge the mound. And I was like, but if I charge the mound, this guy's a lot bigger than me. He's probably gonna win that battle. So I got to talk to my boy Ribera and make sure that I don't get killed. Ribera was on first base. I'm not an idiot, you know what I mean? The guy's got 50 pounds on me. So I said, hey, Ribera, you got my back? Make sure I don't die. He's like, all right. So go up and, first pitch, there it goes. And off the battle we went.
Did you throw your helmet at him? I can't remember.
Oh, I can't remember either, man.
No, I remember what you did. I remember what you did. You just took it off and you dropped it. You dropped it on the home plate.
After you called,
Like very, very cool, calm, and collected. It was just you dropped it on home plate and you went out.
Yeah. Yeah, and then, I wish I would have, been thought it through a little bit more. I should have kept my distance and just started swinging, but I tried to go tackle him, which, when you're down 50 pounds, that's not going to work out too well.
That was your first mistake.
So then I ended up on the ground, but I had his head in my, I had him in a headlock. So we were just sitting there scrambling. And then my boy Ribera came and saved the day and picked him up and got him underneath the arms like this. And then I was free. And then I got a few licks in. And then that was the end of the battle. It was a team effort.
And going back to the don't get along, get it on, I think Muno started crying because he was concerned about the situation. He was like, Betel! And Betel's just standing in the dugout and just says, don't get along, get it on. And then finally, I don't know, somebody was like, all right. And then thinking Bates is going to storm out there, Bates does this slow walk like he's taking a pitcher out that has just thrown 4 balls in a row that just came in. Takes 20 minutes to get out there. It's already done by then. I think at that point he was just like, are we good? Sus, you're up.
we're on the clock.
Yeah. The funny thing, me and Jada, we had very different personality. Well, maybe similar personalities. We're all very strong-minded, and we clashed a few times in my career. But I think we both respected each other. He's such a gamer. I mean, there's no one else that I think anyone would want to have on the mound in Game 3 of the College World Series. And he was so solid and such a bulldog. And we clashed at times, but I mean, he was great. He was a great teammate, and it's so cool to see all the success he's having right now in the big leagues. He's killing it. It's a beautiful thing.
Was that so? You guys beat Arizona State. You get to Omaha, and they said that your gift bags had ASU stuff in it. Is that true?
I don't even think we even got a gift bag.
No?
I don't remember that. I do
if my
remember
gift bag you mean was the hand towel origami shaped like a giraffe, yeah, I think maybe, but they only put it on one person's bed, so one of the roommates got it. But gifts, I don't think we got anything.
I do know they had T-shirts, and they had everybody's T-shirt there, and they had Arizona State T-shirts, and they had no Fresno State T-shirts. I do remember that.
Like Fresno State hats, and they ordered the Gonzaga Bulldog hats.
Oh my gosh.
It's ridiculous. So when you guys get there, like what's the mindset? You guys do the opening ceremonies and you're at Rosenblatt, it's you're there. Like what's going through your guys' mind, and then knowing you're going to go in Game 1 versus Rice?
Mendo?
I mean, we got.
Yeah, let's hear Mendonca. He's just sitting there with his beard, looking all good.
I just remembered that's the best freaking fireworks show I ever seen.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
I couldn't believe what I saw. That's all I remember. Then I was okay. Let's go play baseball. If we win, we win. If we lose, we probably don't have to go play summer ball, so we get out of summer.
So true.
Was there any nerves at any point? Like you guys seemingly played so carefree the whole time.
The final game.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
I mean, even the first, when you're getting police escorted to a game, you start to feel a little sense of nerves, like what's going on. And in Omaha, it's like you're getting escorted, and all of a sudden, bam, Rosenblatt with the lights on, people already in the stands for batting practice. Like it's probably for us at that time, it's probably like you're in the big leagues. Like this is what big leaguers feel like showing up to the yard. I mean, it's the real deal.
Now, and then go ahead.
I was just going to say that I think that, yeah, I think if any of us told you that we weren't nervous or had nerves going into this thing, I think we'd probably be lying. I think, but one of the things that makes you a better ball club is the way in which you deal with those nerves, right? We were really good at least the other guys were really good at keeping things light, keeping things not so serious. That was one of our strong points, and part of that was because we probably didn't belong there, or at least had very little resting on our shoulders, and that helps.
I think too. That first game, we got out to an early lead and really took it away. I remember being in left field the first inning. All the fans were like, 1-2 barbecue. You guys suck. You shouldn't be here. And then, like, by the end of the game, or the game 2 that we played there, the tune had completely changed, and they started to fall in love with us. But it wasn't that way when we first started. I definitely remember that. But that early lead, that beating up on Rice. I mean, I might have been the only one that didn't have a hit in that game. Everyone else just, and
against a solid pitcher, that Barry kid was legit.
Yeah, we tore him up. I remember.
Yeah, I think Danny, you had a 3-run bomb. Ribera, you had one too, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think he had one too. And that set a tone, man. I think people were like, "Oh, 2 and Q, okay, maybe not." And then you had to play. Was it Carolina like 3 times?
Yeah, North Carolina 3 times.
You look at that staff. Looking back on it now, I mean, look, all those starters that they had I remember looking at the scouting report. I don't think I ever saw so much consistency of 95 to 98. I didn't even know that was a thing in college. And they had 3 or 4 guys that were 95 to 98. That was a squad on the mound.
Yeah, and the best part about them is they love their fastball, and we loved hitting fastballs.
Mm-hmm. All they had to do was throw us off speed.
Yeah,
that's all they had to do. We would have been having the barbecue after game 2, but they're like, there's no chance they could hit 97.
Yeah, Fullerton would be spinning off 2-0 breaking balls, and these idiots kept throwing 95, and we were just killing them. It was great.
And what I don't think gets talked about enough is, I often don't think Bethel gets enough credit for how he not only prepared us, but how he let us be ourselves and continue to do what we had been doing, what got us there, what was working. There wasn't this, like, all of a sudden dictatorship, mentality formed. There was very little actually done by him, which may seem weird, but he was the first to recognize why we were there, and wanted us to continue to, we were functioning as a unit, and his demeanor didn't change. He really wanted it to be, hey, this is your guys' deal, roll with it. And we did. So to have a skipper in your corner, let you do your thing, man, I've played for some different coaches, and that makes a huge difference. Huge difference.
Yeah, I agree with that, Ribs. Well, I was watching the interviews after the game, and it's hard now that you've been removed from it so long not to notice the way everybody approached their interviews. You never heard the word I, you never heard the word me. And I remember when Bates started that, any interview you had, if the word I came up in a quote with your name on it, you paid a $1 fine. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, what is this going to do? And it's amazing how it changes your thought process. And it was no longer about you. And professional baseball is so different. Everybody thinks about.
And the funny thing is, you listen to one of Aaron Judge's interviews. He'll never say the word I.
Yeah.
Ever.
And it just sounds so much better, like it sounds better, and it changes your thought process. And I think that one thing like brought us more about each other and more about the team rather than about ourselves.
It showed. And I think I saw another interview after, I think it was the Rice game, and it was some stat. You guys had 14 RBIs with 2 strikes against Rice. is just stupid.
Crazy.
Yeah, Bates was a big 2-strike guy. I mean, if you do damage with 2 strikes, you're gonna win. You're gonna win ball games. I mean, if you're gonna take starters longer into the game, you know, they're gonna get frustrated. We did a boatload of 2-strike work. You know, obviously we spent a good amount of time working on hammering the fastball and taking advantage of guys, you know, trying to blow one by you. But a lot of our work was done with 2 strikes and just finding a way, you know, to get it done. You know, and against those pitchers, you know, all the prep work we did in the fall paid off. It really did.
And then also, how many of you guys, I know I didn't write it down. I was trying to remember, but I think Susdorf, were you dealing with the draft at the same time too? Like Wilson?
Yeah, that was during Arizona State. I think it was right when we showed up to Arizona State was when that all was going on. That was super frustrating for me just because it was just like my junior year where the draft doesn't go the way you think it's going to go. But that's a whole separate topic for me.
I think every single one of you hit a homer in the World Series, if I'm right.
Not me.
Well, you hit one to get him there. So
yeah, dude, you're homer at Arizona State. I don't know how you hit that ball, man. It was unreal.
I think Grubb was dealing with the draft too. I think he got a call from the Orioles.
And then were you guys playing? You guys were still doing school too?
I think we were
wrapped up
while we were somewhere.
I think school was wrapped up by then.
Yeah,
because we were on the semester schedule. I think we wrapped up in like early May, mid-May.
It would have been May.
I think I passed. Did I jump over an inside joke there?
Yeah.
I don't want to pass that stuff up.
So Grubb and I were roommates on the road, and my uncle's like big prankster. So it's during draft, and I text him. I say, "Hey, I want you to call Grubb as a scout for the Orioles and ask him if he's open to getting picked up." And so he does. He gets on the phone. He calls Grubb. Says, "Hey, this is so and so from the Orioles. You know, we're extremely interested in you. We've seen what you've done. We know you're in Arizona State right now. That's good. You're in that weather. We're actually thinking about sending you to our summer ball league when you're done, our short season or whatever he called it. It's in Africa, and you'll have to catch back-to-back doubleheader games in 109 heat. The water can be unhealthy at times, and you're in cages because the civilians there don't like baseball players, and you have like a 97% chance to catch malaria. Are you open to this?" And Grubb's response was like, "You know what, I need to think about it." But you know, he played this on for like 25 minutes with multiple reasons why not to go. You got to sleep in nets, no communication with your family for the next 6 months, 50-50 chance you'll make it back to the States alive, like stone cold serious. And Grubb, you know, definitely interested. It's like a $2,500 signing bonus. Is it worth risking your life? So it just kept playing out. And finally I was like, "All right, Grubb, you got to stop. Just tell him you're not interested." So I told Grubb, and he was like, "I knew it all along."
Oh yeah, sure.
Sure you did.
So it was super funny though. Again, another thing, we're in Arizona State, supposed to, you know, getting ready probably for an elimination game, and we're doing prank draft phone calls.
Tom, you ended up making the national team, and as soon as that was done, you kept on going. You didn't really get a break.
Yeah. It was interesting. It was longer than I wanted to go, to be honest. It was cool to do it, but I was worn out, to be honest. But can't complain. I got to see places I've never seen. But I'd much rather been home enjoying it like everybody else did when you got into Fresno, because I had to switch my apartment out. My lease was up for like a month. So I had to go in within 24 hours, clear all my crap out, and then get on a plane to Durham and play more baseball. And I just really wanted to stay home and actually have a summer for once. Like I said, baseball was cool. It was a good thing. I'm glad I did it, but it's just a lot of baseball at that time.
What was that like too when they announced you College World Series most valuable player?
It was all good. I mean, obviously, other guys deserved it. Our whole staff, pitching staff. I mean, Detweiler, look what he did. He won us the game. I mean, Hetty got us there. If Hetty didn't have a grand slam, we would have never been even talking about it or our run at all. I mean, Hetty's ultimately hit was the biggest hit of Fresno State season, postseason. Hands. I think everybody would agree with you that was our turning point. I mean, if I'm wrong, you guys can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that was our turning point right there. Was Hetty's grand slam. Like, we actually can do something more, and what do we got to lose? We have everything to win. There's nothing to lose because everybody says we're garbage. It's Fresno State. Who the heck knows them? So what else?
You were pretty unreal, man. I remember some of those plays you made at third base. I mean, full layout. I was like, man, I remember being in pro ball. Like, I wish we had a third baseman like that. You know what I mean? And that bomb in game 2 when we were behind. Oh my gosh, that was such a momentum changer. It was beautiful. How many? I haven't even looked at I was curious on the stats. How many bombs did you guys know Mendonca hit in Omaha?
I think it was 4.
You had some swag when you hit your homers too with the subtle bat flips.
Yeah, there were some good pimp jobs going on there.
Mm-hmm. That one in game 2, I bat flipped it from on deck.
I'll tell you that.
Obi had one too, an Oppo taco, I think.
Yeah,
he did.
Perfect wind timing.
Get out.
Now we're using the orange Easton. I know some of you use the orange.
Only Susdorf got to use it.
So you guys had the blue one.
Ribera used it.
So I played with Beckham, Gordon Beckham, when I was play at the end, and he was texting and saying that if he had those bats, that they would have won it. And I was like, yeah.
Okay, and as the wise man once told me, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle.
Not the bow and arrow, it's the Indian.
Thank you.
Hey, those Nike bats were actually pretty legit because at that time all those bats were pretty
Pretty.
Everybody says that, but in the 90s, they were using like drop 5s and 6s and stuff like. I mean, you're always going to say that going forward. I'm tired of hearing that crap.
Hey, those bats are pretty good, man. I remember
they were legit.
The game against North Carolina, I had a curveball that I hit. I mean, off of my pine tar and just back spun it and got it up in the air, and it went 10 rows up, and I was like, this is awesome, man. And my older brother texted me after the game. He was like, did you get jammed on that? And I was like, I would have broke my wood bat if I had a wood bat for sure.
Hey, you had a question for Ribera on game 3.
Oh, about who the hell was the DH?
Oh, Jake Johnson?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sorry. That was the first time I saw that game was last week or whatever. Because I was playing, so I saw like the first 2 innings and then I had to go play. But that was the first time I saw it. And I'm like, who? Like, I honestly thought Ribera DH. I didn't know he didn't because I saw the previous games where he was DHing. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? And then I never even heard of him after that. Just that was the only game.
Yeah, did he transfer the next?
He quit.
Fall?
I think he quit. He
Quit.
was done after that.
Got a girlfriend, and then he was he was my
Hey, also, I don't know why that. I just didn't know who he was. But speaking of that orange bat, that double you hit Oppo says was a little. I thought it was a pop up.
Yeah, it was. Obi was just saying that Oppo bomb, like I think we watched that, and I'm like, gosh, how did that ball go so far? Like, I didn't have oppo power, in pro ball.
You're full of shit.
I got to stay on top of the ball, otherwise I'm out. But with those bats, I mean, that season I had a few bombs to left field in Fresno, and then also in Omaha. In Omaha, it was insane, man. It was insane. It's great.
Yeah, but besides the bats, I think that era, it's just that era. We'll just say it. All the bats were probably similar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't really say that's the reason why, like, Beckham, whatever. If you guys are using, you still hit 20-some jacks. So
Easton or Nike or whatever.
Watching that game the other night, another cool stat that I completely forgot about was Amati being 1 RBI behind Buster Posey.
That's it as well.
Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, he had a crap ton.
And Wetzel, the most hits in Fresno history or something like that?
Yeah, man.
I think he also had like one of the longest hitting streaks in Fresno history. I don't know if it was that year or the year before, but he went off for like something like 30 or 35 games. That guy, he could hit, man.
I remember
absolutely hit.
A few of you guys are in the top 6 of a lot of categories, honestly.
Well, speaking of records,
I think I'm number 1 in sacrificed bunts. Does that count?
Well, you know what I was gonna. I saw.
We said was.
Yeah, Gilmore, we called your name, didn't we?
You were. I read that too. He won like 30-something sack bunts.
Yeah. Gavin had a higher batting average than on base percentage.
For sure.
Versus that year.
There was a number that I saw. You guys all played every game. Yeah, there was no days off. I mean, that 2008 season, Amati, Susdorf, Muno, Mendonca, Hedstrom, you guys played over 70 games. Wetzel, Detweiler, all you guys. 77, 78 games. I
think so. Here's one piece of information I think that a lot of people forget is that I think either that year or the year before we started playing double headers on Saturdays. Right?
Yeah.
That I think a lot of people forget that conditions you to be able to freaking just be beaten into the dirt. And then when you only have one game each day, it actually is a really big lift and really big. It's easy at that point. So I think that was that year. Maybe you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but that was double headers, and that was brutal.
Yeah, that was a big part of that year. We did play 4 game weekends.
Earthquake in Reno.
Yeah.
Wasn't that 08?
Yeah, you might be right.
Susdorf was my roommate. He was like fired up about it. He said, "God, this is awesome. This is what I study in school."
That's because
you were freaking out.
He was an engineering major, so he was so satisfied with the structure of the building.
Dude, Muno was like, I'm going to go down to the parking garage and I'm going to sleep in the bus. And I'm like, Muno, if the building comes down, it's coming down on the garage. You are going to just, that's the worst place you want to be. You want to get out of here. I was like, don't worry, man. They're designed for this stuff. It's all good. We're going to be fine.
Somebody did sleep on the bus, though, right?
Yeah, Gene.
Yeah,
I think someone actually went down there. I'm like,
handle that.
Yeah. Underground parking garage.
So we got the earthquake and then the chartered flight to Omaha.
That was scary.
Oh my God. We have guys that literally go to therapists now because of that.
Grub doesn't fly.
Yeah.
Because of that.
I wasn't going to name his name, but I think we all know who he is. Yeah, he literally goes to therapists because he can't fly anywhere. He drives everywhere now, and it was pretty freaking hairy. It was pretty gnarly. There were points where on our way, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the story at all, but we were on our way on a chartered flight, which was awesome, flying to Omaha, and storm pops up, horrible storm. I don't know what it was, whether it was a tornado or some crap, but it could have been a hurricane for all we knew. They reroute us to Lincoln, but in the process of flying to Lincoln, we end up just in the middle of this thing, and the plane drops. Guys didn't have their seatbelt on. I saw shit hitting the ceiling. I mean, we were dropping at least it felt like 100 feet, but it was probably more like 500 or 600 feet because it's in plane terms. yeah, I mean, people were hitting their heads on the ceiling. It was insane. And I've been on a lot of flights. It was the scariest thing I've experienced in the air. And yeah, we have guys that still deal with it. And yeah, that was nuts.
It was like that scene in, probably worse, but like the scene in Major League when they're on the old plane and the lightning's the plane. It was
No
like that, but scarier.
And then throughout that whole series, did you guys notice a shift with the crowd? You know, by game, I figured by the finals, I mean, I would assume, I know obviously I was going for you guys, but a lot of the locals were wanting to see you guys win over a Georgia for sure. Did you guys notice a shift in the atmosphere in the crowd?
Certainly off the field, I definitely noticed it. On the field, there definitely was more fans that stuck around for our games. I mean, so what Susdorf was talking about before, how people were talking about too in barbecue, yelling at him from the outfield, those chants went away, and they would do this thing, and Susdorf probably remembers this too, but they would do this thing where they'd say, like the left field, all the fans in left field behind you would say, right field sucks, and they'd yell it as loud as they could. And then in right field, they would say right field or left field sucks, right? And they go back and forth, and that would turn into like them chattering at us, and there would always be more people when we were playing. So I figure, hey, they're rooting for us, right, to some degree, and that's one of the things I noticed. I don't know, as a random thought.
I wanna get to, so when the game was playing, obviously some of you guys have Twitter, some don't. But there was a big Twitter thing of how selfish Mendonca was for not striking out his last at bat.
Seriously.
He was at 97 punch outs, 19 home runs going into that game. The plan was to go 1 for 4 home run and 3 punch outs.
No, was that a plan? You guys did you guys really talk about that at all before?
Oh yeah, that was probably the biggest talking point of the day.
So come on, Tommy.
Tommy's got to get 100 strikeouts.
Yeah, what's going on in the last AB?
I hit a tank, but I sure don't strike out. I'd rather have 20 homers. Those are now brutal. I about crawled in a hole and died after they were talking how crappy I was. But
yeah, they don't have a College World Series ring on their finger, so.
Yeah, shoot. That it was fun watching. They just bagged on everybody, seemed like, and then they would call Hedstrom or whatever in center field. Like,
yeah, I heard that part.
Yeah, it was a cluster. They didn't do their homework.
Cerrone.
Yeah, the guy that threw his bat and we all ducked every time he swung.
Man. Dude, that guy was.
He was a baby. He was a baby. He cried that whole game.
He got caught looking, I think, on one and just I was like, just throw this dude out.
He was exhausting.
He really was. Even my wife, when we were watching the replay, she was like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
But everything we did would get under his skin.
Yeah.
So he like lost his bat, and I'm like, "All right, let's all duck every time he swings." You know. Yeah.
Was there dugout chatter? I mean, I know it's not high school, but and I know Ribera being a Clovis West guy, you know what I'm talking about.
No, gosh.
Dugouts going at it.
Not that I remember. Tommy was over on third base. He probably could tell.
I mean, watching the beginning of that game, they looked like they were kind of scared.
They looked defeated.
Yeah.
You scored first, and that was it. They were defeated.
Shit.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but in game 2, I thought we were down by like 6 runs and we came back. And, you know, that was.
Yeah, they were up like 5-0 in game 2, and I think they thought they had a 1 then.
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to watch it on our station here in Fresno. They're playing all 3 games. April 25th is game 1, and the 26th is going to be game 2, and then May 3rd, I think, is going to be game 3 again.
Nice.
So that's going to be cool for us back here in Fresno. It's a big thing right now going on. I know I'm going to watch all 3. I'll probably record them. I still have the game 3 recorded here.
Ovi,
I've watched it like 5 times since it happened.
You have those on DVD, Ovi?
I got a couple of them somewhere.
Trying to critique his
Because he's
errors.
old?
I think they're on VHS though.
No, I was actually happy with the quality. ESPN kind of made it because those games didn't look that good back then.
Yeah.
So you guys win it all. What was the welcome home, the parade, and going to the White House, the ESPYs, that stuff? Starting with the parade, though, how was that coming home?
A lot of fun. I mean, we obviously hadn't seen the stadium that packed in a long time. And then just kind of getting the VIP tour, around Bulldog Lane, and I don't even remember what the route was, but it was great to see a lot of the fans, and great to see a lot of the other fans that, hey, we've been with you since day one. We knew it. You got a good combination of both.
Yeah. It was cool.
It was fun.
I'd never been in a parade like that, and to see that many people when we were cruising around before we entered the stadium was cool. And then I think the coolest thing was when we came into that stadium and every seat was filled, and almost the entire infield was filled, and a lot of the outfield was just standing room. It was like you heard about all the craziness going on at Doghouse during the games, but we never really got to see that or partake in that. So to see everybody there was awesome.
Wasn't there a guy who got a big old tattoo and somebody rubbed his belly?
I did that. Yes. Okay, right. So there's a guy who's he's just part of the parade, or part of the gallery to the parade, and as I think Mendo, you must have been in the same golf cart as me, but as we're driving by, he lifts up his shirt and he's got a Fresno State 2008 World Champions with like a diamond in the middle.
How'd you like the parade, Muno?
What's that?
How'd you like the parade?
Cool. I mean, I've never been in a parade. We were thinking, me and you were both freshmen, so we're all taking it all in.
Oh, what about you, man? You hadn't been to a parade since the year prior in San Francisco.
When I brought Sprague up there? Yeah, no, it was neat. Like Seth said, I mean, we were in Omaha, what felt like kind of just us with the team. You hear about the stuff back home, but then to actually get to see it and see what it meant to the people that was a fun day for sure.
You look at other colleges too in California. I don't think any other school is going to put on a parade like fan base of Fresno all rallying around one team. It's like you see over on the East Coast or ACC, SEC, all those schools right there in California.
Yeah, it was cool to see everyone out there. I think somebody said it earlier how you had a lot of fans that have been there with you every step of the way, and to kind of see all the smiles on their faces, that they're there through the thick and the thin. They've seen it all. Was super special.
Did you guys have your family? Did you guys have your families come in for that at all? I know all of you are pretty much from out of the area, except for Ribs.
Yeah. I think a lot of them came in. No, mine did.
Mine, they're still hurting from the 2 weeks they spent all their money in Omaha.
Yeah, my family came in too. My family, and then my girlfriend at the time, but my wife now. She was there as well. It was super cool.
And then getting to go to the White House, what was that like?
The best. George W. Bush, baby.
Mm-hmm.
We were the last team he saw too. Like one of the last groups of world champions he saw.
How long were you guys there? I mean, how long was that visit?
Like 2-3 days, maybe. The visit off.
Stupid airport on the way home.
Yeah, I think the visit itself was like maybe 5 or 6 hours. You get there, you kind of take a tour of the White House, of the East Wing, and then you do you set yourself up for a picture in like the corridor where there's staircase that leads up to the residences. Then George Bush comes around the corner, and we had a jersey made for him that had his name and number on it, and he sat there and kind of talked to us. And I think he had a pretty we had a pretty good connection, just given his his love for baseball, and he's the owner of the Rangers for a little while, and he's been involved for a long time. So I think he found that we were his favorite group. But I like to think that anyways. But
No, I think you're right, dude. You could tell his demeanor was, he was thoroughly enjoying the baseball combo, and it was good.
He was super cool. I remember he was like, "Come on down to Texas, like later on, I'll be hanging out there." He was cool. It was nice.
I tried that, and he was like, "I don't remember you."
Who are you?
Like, you said free tickets. Like, remember?
Remember?
And then who went to the ESPYs? Was it Susdorf? I think you were there, right?
Yeah.
I got Tommy, were you there also?
No, I was in Europe. They went back for it.
Wilson, Detweiler.
Detweiler,
yeah.
And then Bates went as well.
And I think you guys were up for like best upset, and I forget who won. Like I think the Giants won, the Super Bowl champs won.
Yeah, I think that's who beat us. Totally not the better choice there.
For ratings.
I actually agree. I don't know if what you guys did will ever happen again. It's crazy.
Well, they're showing it on during the game as well. Is the biggest upset story in all of college sports or sports in general.
Yeah. Even till today, it's the same. I mean, the 6 elimination games. That's crazy to have 6 do or dies. Go win or go home. Yeah. I go back to that game 3, and it's like it was just like they were defeated. And you guys mentioned them being up 6-0 in game 2. It just, like I said earlier, it didn't seem like you guys were phased at any point in time. You just were comfortable with your environment, and nobody looked nervous. Not on camera.
Yeah, those tournaments are tough, man. With all you get in the losers bracket, and you're in trouble. I mean, that was one thing. Even though we faced so many elimination games, we did really well. Was winning those first few games, getting the winners bracket, and then losing a few games and doing the maximum to actually get out of it. But thankfully, we were able to get in the winners bracket every stage of the way. Yeah. And then obviously win and get to the finish line.
Yeah, I guess there wasn't as much social pressure then, because there was really no access or platform for social media. You couldn't really get involved with it, if that kind of makes sense. There wasn't checking your Twitter to see what people were saying about Fresno State. I mean, we didn't even get to see any of the games. Like, we were just in our environment and playing baseball.
I remember coming back to the room after, though, Tommy's plays on Top 10 Sports.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Was that the one with...
Tommy's laying in the bed naked next to me.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I remember I was rooming with the one where Amadi catches it and throws the guy out third.
Yeah.
Rooming with Amadi, and I remember the top 10 plays came on, and we both like stood up out of the bed like it's coming, and it got to like the top 3, and we both looked at each other like didn't make it, and then it was like number 1 or number 2.
It was number 1. It was number 1.
Yeah.
That was one of the best plays I've ever seen. It was unreal. Yeah. Unreal.
Have any of you guys been back since to Omaha?
Yeah.
Has anyone like spent time at the College World Series, like stuck around or just passed by? Like we passed by driving home from Pennsylvania one of the years, but just saw the stadium and went. It'd be so cool to like get back, like take our group back and hang out there for the College World Series. I mean, preferably with Fresno State in it again, but yeah.
Sucks it sucks they tore down the old stadium.
Yeah, it was my junior. I did junior year. I did the home run derby there, which was the last college event held there, which was super cool. Because I think the next year was at the new stadium. So that was when I went back. But I think it'd be awesome to go back and actually spend a couple weeks, you know, Airbnb a couple houses with as many of the guys and families as can go. I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
It's different. I mean, they have the foul poles up still, and they have a little monument at home plate where home plate was, and some seats are left, stuff like that. But they have, you know, a plaque for you guys and all the champions, and it's pretty sweet. I would have loved to have gone. Did you guys take anything? Any dirt? Any grass? Anybody try to steal anything?
Yeah, I think most of us took some dirt.
The locker room chairs.
Yeah, we have the locker room chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went back, Muno, when we played Nebraska.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was locked down, but we stopped there. I remember we took some pictures. The guys that were on the 08 team that were still there. I think me, you, Gene, Ware, Bates.
Was Ovi there?
Yeah, I was there. That was my first back. Yeah.
Is it still a field? What is it now?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Part of the old Rosenblatt?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Parking lot.
Yeah. There are two foul poles are in the middle of the parking lot, so you can stand at home plate and check it out. And it's like a miniature wiffle ball field.
Right.
Like there's say hometown heroes. So like Aaron Gordon's on there. He's from Nebraska. And like big names from there. Then in left field, plaque, the past winner of the College World Series that won there, I believe.
Yeah, but it's mainly a parking lot now. It's just got a little monument to it, and then I think that's the zoo there, and the back's still there. So, the new place is cool. I mean, the atmosphere is insane. I could imagine what it was like at Rosenblatt, but I would if anybody ever get the chance to go, I always tell them go.
It's cool. I don't know if you guys remember our host, like Jim Castillo, the guy who took us around. Yeah. I still talk to him all the time. I was playing back there, and he gave me a tour of everything and tickets and this and that. It's top notch. The locker rooms are way different. The batting cages are awesome, but it's just a different atmosphere. It's not Rosenblatt.
We need to bring back the old bats and let the guys hit some homers in that stadium.
Thought they were moving the walls in.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah.
And then you guys, you know, using that experience, you know, into pro ball, you know, how did that, you know, a couple big leaguers on here. How many of those moments did you guys go back to in your careers in pro ball?
Yeah, I think I pulled in on that College World Series a ton. Just you ever in a tough spot in pro ball, you're not swinging it as good. Going back to a time that, you know, you were locked in and felt good. Pull back in on some of those memories, try to build that confidence back up and get back on track.
I mean, that's the best baseball I've ever played in, been a part of, and one of the best teams I've ever been a part of. I just go back to the good times and on and off the field, when I was going good, what I was doing on and off the field, more like trying to get back with that. But
you guys go back to like teammates during your pro careers and just, you know, chit chat or get back in a groove, just talking with guys, maybe analyzing some things or just even talking to them, get you loosened up again?
You try. It's hard to keep in touch with a lot of
it is.
During the season, it's hard.
Yeah, one thing we all have, which is super cool, is the alumni weekend. Everyone everyone tries to get back to that alumni weekend and see everybody. It's so special. I think to everybody that in our group that was a part of this, we always get a great turnout, and it's super cool to see everybody during that alumni weekend. I think that all kept us close, even throughout, playing pro ball and whatnot. I know for me, I mean, this is the best baseball experience of my life. I mean, better than getting a chance to play in St. Louis. When I got to get to the big leagues, I think back of like how cool that was, but this was so much better because it was all of us together. It was a team effort, and it was such a special moment for all of us.
Back off of Suz, I mean, that was the best experience in my career, even making it to the big leagues, but playing with such a great group of guys, and everything's all about a team where you get to the minors and it's all individual. That was different for me, and I wasn't used to that. Great group of guys that was on that team, and just the whole experience was, a lot better than anything I ever experienced.
Yeah, you guys, I don't mean to interrupt. I got to jump. I got to get to a work call, but thanks for thanks for having us on. I appreciate that.
We're in social distancing, so
Yes.
Yeah, dude. I wish that worked for the job, man. All right, see y'all later.
Later, Seth.
Thanks, Seth.
See you guys.
I want to know what was really kind of. I'm sorry if you guys all go. You guys were like ranked 60th in the country in offense, and I just see everybody come to the plate like batting over 300. 70 plus RBIs. Amadi had 90 something. I mean, 20 bombs here, 15. I just couldn't believe how you were ranked 60th in the country. But that just, and Jake and I always talk about this on our podcast, is how that era of baseball, because that was the same era I played in, I think we were just so much better as players than now. I don't care what the bats are like. I still think the numbers would still be the same nowadays if our era was just better ball player. I mean, what do you think now with the way baseball is?
Said Ovi could probably speak on that, seeing all the.
Yeah, I mean, I think you always think it used to be better looking back on things. I mean, the game's definitely different. There's different aspects to it. But I think you always, when you try to compare eras, you can only deal with what was in that time. I mean, if all of us played today, we'd adapt to things that go on today, just like kids today playing would adapt to the things how they were then. So, I mean, it's just the game evolves and kids come up going different ways. And just like people that were older than us grew up doing different things, and they probably think that they were better players or the game is better or things like that. I mean, I think the game's still the same. The mound's still 60 feet, 6 inches. The bases are still 90 feet. The game's still the same.
You're lying. I don't believe you. I'm kidding.
I mean, well, especially I think you always want to take things now and be able to go back and, if I would have known what I know now and played 10 years ago, what I could have done. But yeah, I mean, I think definitely you always think your era was better, probably.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys were great to watch, and dude, it'll never happen again. I believe that it won't. Something like that. It's just so hard to do what you guys did. So I look forward to watching all 3 games when it comes up at the end of April. But
I think to that point, I think it's not only was it for what we had done that year, how difficult it is, it's just difficult for anybody to win a national championship. No matter how good of a team you are, if you're number 1 team ranked all year, to go through that many games and play that many good teams at the end of the year, it's really hard to get to the end, not whether you should be there or not. It's something that's pretty special no matter where you came from.
Yeah,
but a lot of the cakewalks too for regionals, it seems like.
English, Mendonca.
A lot of those teams get cakewalks for regional. You're ranked 1 or 2.
Yeah, that's true.
But they have an easier path than what we took. We get the bottom barrel because, hey, our regional of death or whatever in Long Beach. Then, hey, this team's only lost 3 games at home. throw them to the dogs, and then we come there. I just feel if you're on the top few, 5 teams, you get an easier path to where you want to go.
Particularly on the East Coast as well.
Yeah.
I remember those guys having some regionals that were just like, who are these people?
Tony
What
Brooks.
teams are? Yeah. They would have. Yeah, they exactly. Just like Tom said, they had a cakewalk in order to get to a super regional, and even then, it wasn't that difficult to get to the World Series. So it's no surprise that you see the same teams popping up in the World Series all the time. At least it wasn't back then.
And it was like even teams in the same conference, multiple teams would be hosting a regional, regardless of who won the conference. I'm like, you have to win your conference in our league to even go to a regional, let alone host.
Yeah.
But I'm like, aren't those 3 teams in the same conference?
Right.
And they're all hosting?
And it's still the same way. And you guys did it all on the road, it's all games.
Yeah.
Starting in Louisiana Tech, that place is an experience in itself.
Yeah, it is.
There's some characters out there too.
Yeah.
Was that where the tournament was that year?
Yeah.
Oh.
That was fun. I like.
Remember we went with Soares' dad, Ribs, to that
crawfish? Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I don't know if Obi got his ID back yet.
Don't need it.
I will say Muno's might have the best looking hat I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
I think my grandpa
on too.
That really is a NASCAR hat.
I think my grandpa has that hat.
Yeah. I can't tell if that one's Gonzaga.
Are you wearing your jersey on too, Muno?
Oh yeah.
I have 2 jerseys, bro. You have a jersey up on the wall.
He's got an outstanding bill with Younger still.
What the hell?
Young.
No wonder guys can't get new batting gloves.
Oh, that was Eddie's when he was running around everywhere.
Yeah.
Eddie.
You don't remember Eddie?
Come on, man.
The sunglasses, man? Yeah, I remember him.
You just got a new bat. You can't exchange it.
Just trying to get some new batting gloves. These are ripped. Do you have your receipt? No, but there's like holes in them, and I'm bleeding.
You're
like
a freshman. You don't get anything. Let's go.
Should have got some when we left Fresno 48 days ago.
He's the same guy that turned down Oakley's offer to give us a bunch of sunglasses when we were in Omaha too. Remember that?
Compliance issues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nike contract.
We're gonna give you guys. They literally said Oakley comes up and says we're gonna give you guys 3 pairs of Oakleys, and one of the equipment guys stepped in and was like, "No, we can't have them."
Yeah, Garza was sending them. Garza was having his Oakley rep send us Oakleys. He was going to send it to a couple of guys he played with, and then they were like, well, I think we got to give them to everybody. So they tried to give them to the equipment guy. I said, nope, can't have those.
There you go.
How's that any different than college football going to the Xbox Bowl and getting a brand new Xbox?
Yeah.
Well, everybody got it, Ribs. Common sense.
I don't know. What a ride.
We got an alarm clock. Everybody got an alarm.
Oh yeah.
An alarm.
That's true.
Was that our gift?
The nickel-plated alarm clock. You don't remember that?
Yeah. Isn't that what we got?
I definitely remember thinking we all thought we were getting Xboxes and TVs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, here's the alarm clock.
I know they load them up now.
Do they?
Yeah.
What do they get nowadays?
They'll throw these. I've seen pictures where they have to get Nike backpacks, gloves, headphones, all kinds of stuff.
Easton hooked us up the following year, and they gave us their like top of the line Easton stuff.
Yeah, they did.
Up until that point, we got their middle of the pack.
Yeah, we got the stuff off the shelf at Dick's.
How was it as freshmen, Jordan and Danny, with this group? Was there any hazing?
No,
there wasn't. There wasn't any hazing, right, guys?
What's hazing?
Well,
No, it honestly, like, I mean, we've already said it, but there was really, from day one, you felt comfortable and family. As a freshman, obviously you learn to be more quiet. You just got to earn your stripes. But the crew we had was selfless, and we're in this thing together. Whatever we were doing, we hung out together. We were with each other every day. So you don't know what to expect coming in as a freshman, and you meet new guys, and you earn your stripes, and you become family. And I think, like Seth said, we still, to this day, a lot of us still talk. We see each other, and a lot of us have kids now, and it was it was the greatest 4 years of my life.
100%.
And my freshman year was the greatest year of my life, probably. And like we said earlier, just an experience that is unlike any other that you'll have for the rest of your life with a certain group of guys. There's a bond there. There's something special there that 25 years from now we can call each other and talk about. Compared to pro ball teams and just other years in general. But what a ride.
And Danny, you coming from SoCal area, you're a freshman. What were your expectations?
I mean, I was quiet. But I would ask a lot of questions, as usual. They called me Curious George, but it was just an experience. I mean, I didn't think it was real, playing, making it to the College World Series, and just, we keep winning, and then ultimately winning the whole thing. I mean, I just, didn't think that it was real life, like it was actually happening. It could only set in a year after, when we're sophomores and we're getting back and starting up again, and hit me. But the whole 4 years that, like Rib said, it was the best of my entire career. Playing at Fresno with the group of guys that we had, and even the team, getting back together with them, still staying in touch. It's just a testament to the team that we had. Got a great team. Guys are going to be close and want to stay in touch with each other.
Obi, we were talking before too. Was it 06? What was Woody's team? You guys were like 45 and something and went to Fullerton, and 07?
6.
And kind of talking, you were talking about how like that group kind of set the tone for the following, 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, would you guys, I don't know, Tommy, were you there then?
I was a senior in high school.
Okay.
It was just me and Ove.
What did those guys do, for you, Gavin, getting, your feet wet?
Yeah, that team was our team in 06 was really, really good. We were stacked. I mean, we had Pfister, we had Underwood. I mean, we had Vitters. We had a really good team, and I think when we made it to Fullerton, I remember thinking, like, and we had Story, and we did okay. I think we won one game, lost one game. I think we're done by then. But I remember thinking, these guys are good. These guys are really, really good, and it makes you reassess what your skills are and where you feel like you can add value, right? For me, that's a real moment that every freshman kind of goes through, unless you're a superstar like these two guys. You don't you have to figure out a way to get into the mix. And when there's a bunch of guys around you that are, amazing and really good and really physically talented, you have to figure out a way to contribute. And that was how it affected me. It made me realize, it makes you first think, holy crap, do I belong here? First and foremost. And second, it probably makes you think, I got to figure out a way I can up my game, right? Like I need to figure out a way to do something that one of these other guys can't, or, at least contribute in some way, shape, or form, whether that's in practice, or whether that's in a game is something you have to kind of decide. But for me, that was how I kind of approached my freshman year. That was a really, really good team.
Yeah, man, I think too, that team, one, how, like Gav said, how good we were with that pitching, with some older Moresi, Sakamoto, Vitters, older team. One, was our first championship, first regional, setting the tone, but also just kind of setting the tone for the program going forward on how loose, while being good and still being loose at the same time, those guys were, Moresi and Saka, performing on the field but still having fun doing it. I think that carried into this team 2008 and Jordy and Danny's further years. And to your question of those guys about being freshmen, I think it didn't matter who you were, what year you were going to get it. If you had something coming, you were going to hear, whether you're a senior or a freshman. That's just how loose and fun that team was, that you were going to get crap if you were a freshman or if you were a senior. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
No, that's good stuff, man. I remember it very, very vividly. And growing up, being a Bulldogs fan and having season tickets, and ditching in high school to go to the Johnny Quick Classic, and it was a big part. We weren't going to miss those games, and it's interesting to see, like, Danny and Gavin and Ovi and Tommy. Like, I want to know, and this would be my last question for you guys. I don't know if Chad's got anything more, but I want to know, like, what kind of drew you guys to Fresno State in the first place? I mean, I don't know if it was your first options, but you guys are all from, different walks and different areas. Was it just a place to play, or was being a Bulldog something you wanted to do? Jordan, I mean, I could see you definitely, growing up in this area, but what drew you guys to Fresno State? We'll start with you, Tommy.
Be honest, I almost pulled out and went to Modesto JC because they were guaranteeing me stuff, and I really didn't get it. The whole college stuff, how it worked with NCAA clearinghouse and how to do this. Visited schools. I got letters. I got more letters for being a punter in football, so I didn't know which direction I wanted to go. But Fresno, I never got letters from them. I went to one showcase called Diamond Kings. I don't think it's around anymore. And Curdy saw me, and that's when we started talking. And what drew me there the most was I felt like I owed it to my family, to my parents, to stay closer to home rather than go further away, because they've sacrificed a lot for me at that point in my baseball career. I didn't feel right going away. There they have to get on a plane and see me play. Fresno, like you said, that team previous was stacked. I mean, the few years before that were ranked. I liked the way the program was going. I liked Batesville. I came from the country, and Fresno State's a big agricultural-based school. I loved everything about it. The guys were great. My visit was a good time. Christian Vitters was my liaison. It was fun. But Fresno State, the guys were great. I felt like I owed it to my family, and to be honest, it's the best decision I've made in my life to this date. And I can't regret it. So that's the reason I went to Fresno State.
Gavin, how about you?
Yeah, for me, I was going around playing, entering showcases in Southern California, and Ovi, do you remember the guy who used to do recruiting like before Batesel really took over. I don't know if I remember his name.
Chad? Aussie?
Montez.
Montez. Yeah, Montez. So Montez saw me and said, "Hey, we'd love for you to come to our summer ball camp." So I went to the summer ball camp. It's I don't know if the Fresno State still puts this on, but they use the dorms for like a week, and they have a baseball camp, and it's basically just a bunch of high schoolers who basically go get the full college experience. You stay in the dorms, you eat at the cafeteria, and during the day you play baseball, and you play a ton of baseball. And so during the time, I don't think I think I went like, I don't think I ever struck out or grounded out. I was like played out of my mind, right? And so when I got home, I was like, wow, man, that was really fun. And I get a letter from Montez and says like, we'd love for you to come here. And I seriously gave it some thought, and yeah, I mean the rest is history. But I just felt like I played pretty well in Fresno. Might as well go give it a shot. Yeah, that was how I kind of ended up there. Nothing particularly special.
Danny?
Well, I was playing in the area code. I tried out for the team and didn't make it. And Batesel saw me there, and I was playing for my dad's team in a summer league at the time, and he skipped the area code and came and watched me there. And then he called me the first day of the recruiting, whenever they could contact guys, and invited me on an official visit. And Fresno State was really the only school that recruited me out of high school. And then went on the visit. Lappin was actually my liaison. Did my first keg stand with him and Burke. And then
But let me just say, you haven't lived until Bo Mills has been yours.
I just envision Lappin doing the kicks.
No, he had the worst one because you had Bo Mills, and then I can only imagine what Bitters did with Mendonca. I'm not going to go there.
And he's still here with us, so.
Ovi, I had J-Dub in his prime. Just gross.
You had Justin Wilson?
Yeah.
Lock you in a bathroom?
Wow.
Just come here.
Lappin and Burke. Yep. But yeah, I mean, Fresno State going to a football game was, feeling the whole college atmosphere, just being around there and all the fans at the football game, kind of drew me to Fresno State, and Batesel, being the only one that recruited me was kind of everything.
Well, I'd say they got it right with everybody, Jordan, what about you? I'll do you last, Ovi. Being a cool guy.
I mean, I knew I wanted to play at Fresno State. I didn't know it was baseball, though. My mom was a cheerleader at Fresno State. My dad played soccer there. So I actually had committed to play football. And then my senior year, I broke my hand in the City County All-Star game, and I was done. Like, I just said, I was so irritated that I said, I'm not going to play football anymore. I was so pissed off. And then Batesel, I don't even remember if it was Batesel, but yeah, I think Batesel called me and said, hey, we'd like you to come here. We don't have anything to offer you right now. But I was over baseball or over football, so I did. So I went there, and then after the fall, I ended up getting on scholarship, and it's a good decision.
I was at your guys' football game where you beat De La Salle, by the way.
Which one? At De La Salle or at home the following year? No,
at De La Salle after the streak ended in Seattle. I was at the De La Salle game.
We gave them their first home loss, though, since like 88 or whatever.
Yeah.
Was Hom on that team?
We're talking football, bro. Does Hom look like he plays football? Yeah, so I knew whatever I ended up doing, I wanted to do it, you know, in Fresno, whether that be City College or State. But I'm obviously ended up working out for the best.
Then Ovi, just kind of refresh. I think you were being recruited. You were going to go to JC down there on the coast, right?
Yeah, it was pretty simple for me. My only offer. Obviously, I'd known a lot about Fresno State and the history and stuff, and as soon as that opportunity came, I don't think I could have said yes fast enough.
Well, I appreciate you guys doing this, man. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but a lot of memories from you guys. It means a lot to have you on here and just kind of reminisce and talk about it. And yeah, definitely good to have you guys on. And Chad, you got anything else, man?
No, I'm just thankful you guys were able to do it, and we appreciate you guys for everything you've done for this community and Fresno State baseball.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. It was fun for us too to get on and chat with each other too. So we're happy to do it anytime. We'd like to be back on.
Sure.
If Batesville will quit hogging up all the TV time.
Well, all right, guys. So that's episode 52 Hit or Die podcast.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Good day.
Yeah, guys.